Hey YouTube. So I want to communicate something that I've been learning about myself through relationships, and that is the type of nurturing and the type of femininity that is required with a man versus with yourself versus with a child, right? Now, because women are naturally so nurturing, we automatically get into this overly nurturing, protective mode when it comes to guys that we're dating. But what you'll find is you will repeat cycles of you enabling the men that you're in relationships with. So while you think that you're being loving and you think that you're being helpful and submissive and feminine, you're actually giving love to a man that is for yourself and for a child, right? You can either unlock the woman in you or the mother in you. And, you know, by choosing which way you go about, how you go about a relationship and how you go about loving someone, you can either bring out the man or the boy. The way you love a man is being there, being supportive, allowing him to figure things out himself, allowing him to lead himself, and not treating him like you're his mom. Allowing a man to continue to take care of himself even while in the relationship, right? Allowing a man to still clean up after him, to clean up after himself. Allowing a man to still cook for himself, not necessarily all the time, but don't let him forget that he's a grown man and his life depends on him, not his woman/mommy. Allowing him to go through certain struggles so that he can build the character and the resilience to learn from it and make it through. If you are acting like his mom and you are bailing him out of every single hard situation, how is he gonna grow from it? How is he going to build that character? How is he going to gain those stripes as a man? If you keep coming to the rescue with your finances, right? Paying for this, paying for that, feeding him, paying for things to get fixed. You're not training your man on how to be a man for you. One thing that I learned is a man must lead himself in order to lead a woman. For a man to even lead a woman, he has to be able to lead himself. A man leads himself, and then the woman willingly follows. Not he does everything he can to control the woman and make sure she's behind him and make sure she's still there. And no, look forward. Don't look back at me. I know what I'm doing. Look forward. Focus on you. Focus on your path. And when I see that you're focused on yourself, and when I see that you are confident in your direction in life, then you give me the confidence to follow you. I think a lot of guys really do misinterpret that statement. They think that leading a woman means controlling the woman and forcing her to abide by certain rules that make him feel like a man, right? or that make him look like a man to other people. But if a man is not leading himself, where is he leading you? You know, I've made the mistake of tapping into a motherly side of me in my last 2 relationships, and I deeply regret it. You know, there was something in me that told me, do not let this guy move in with you. I do not care how much you love him. I don't care how much you don't want to see him struggle. At first, I was staying firm on that boundary because I told myself I was never going to do that again from my previous relationship. So at first, you know, I wasn't really offering my space, right? So I'm trying to help him find a space, you know, in his budget. And I don't even care if he has to live anywhere in a trailer. It doesn't matter. As long as he is able to move out himself and do something by himself, you know, that was fine with me. But after, you know, weeks and, you know, hearing him complain and, oh my God, I hate where I live and blah, blah, blah. It's like that motherly side came out of me, and it wanted to just save him like he was my son. And him moving in with me, I'm not going to say that it was just horrible because, you know, we had more good times than bad, but that was inevitably like the beginning of the end. Because I started to feel like I was taking on more of the weight in the relationship. You know, even though we were going 50-50 with the finances, I was still the one cooking 100% of the time. I was still the one cleaning 80% of the time. And when we didn't have food, because I took it on as my responsibility, if I didn't cook, then I felt obligated to buy us both Uber Eats. So I was doing more than just being his woman and his supporter and his, you know, biggest cheerleader and things like that. And his equally yoked partner in crime, you know. I took on a motherly role, and he got comfortable. Like all men get comfortable, you know. So that's why, like, sometimes you'll hear of let's say a man moving in with a woman, right? And before he looks or he appears to be a driven man, he appears to be ambitious, he appears to, you know, have his whatever together. And as he lives with the woman, he begins to just deteriorate. He begins to lose himself, and he begins to just look like bummy, you know? And it's not because the woman is necessarily draining him, it's because she's enabling him. And this is not the woman's fault, you know. Obviously, everyone is responsible for their own destiny, but it becomes a burden on the woman almost every time. So we have to change the way that we love men that we're in a relationship with. We don't have to prove that we're wifey material. We don't have to play house to prove to a man that we're wifey material. If we know our value, if we know what we add to a man's life, he has to prove himself to us. What can you add to me? What can you add to my life? I know what I come with. I know what I come with. But now what can you add to my life? I think that women get tricked. They get tricked into thinking that they have to prove that they're wifey material, and they have to play house until the man just decides to marry them. But how many people you know were playing house before they were happily married? Playing house, right? Meaning living together, cohabitating together, having kids, playing house. Literally playing house in real life. You know, they say a lot of times, I don't know what the percentages are or whatever, but if a couple is more likely to get married if they move in together after engagement, not before. It's not because the woman loses her value, or maybe they get bored with each other, maybe the man doesn't feel like he has to chase her or earn her anymore, but it's because the woman switches from woman into mother, and he doesn't see her the same way. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is, how bad she is. If a woman doesn't carry that prize energy, that that goddess energy, like, I'm the wife, I'm your wife, I'm not your mom, I'm not your caregiver, I'm not your I can be your therapist sometimes, but you ain't paying me for that. you know I'm not your cook, I'm not your maid. you know um a lot of times men just, like, I don't know, like, once they move in with a woman, it's like all of their independent skills just goes out the window. They just forget how to cook, they forget how to clean, it just leaves their mind. The same way women um want men to, like, handle things for them, and they just forget how to do things. Like, a woman will forget how to open a jar around a man to make him feel masculine, right? But if a man is doing that, like, but in a way where it's like taking care of himself, that's a problem. That's a problem, you know? So I've done it twice and I'm not doing it anymore. I have learned that there are consequences to um to switching into a motherly role and not staying in your womanly feminine energy. That type of nurturing should be done for yourself and for your child, not for a grown man. You don't adopt your man. You don't become a maid, a free chef, and a free sex worker for your man, and a free therapist, and whatever else you're doing for that guy. Maybe if it's worth it to you, if you're getting fully taken care of, if you're able to, live freely, if he's, making your life easy and paying for your expenses, and, maybe you do want to, have that exchange, maybe it could be worth it, especially if you don't mind it, you know. But if you find yourself in a cycle where every time you get in a relationship, it starts off good and then you start loving hard. The moment you start loving hard, everything goes down the drain. Why is that, right? Why is that? It's because you're giving the wrong type of love. That's not how you be feminine. That's not how you be submissive to a man. You are submissive to a man that can lead himself, that is clear on his vision, that has a plan of action, and not only has a plan, but that is on his plan, that is making his plan in action, not one that just talks about what he's about to do and what he's gonna do and what he was and what he's gonna be. A man that's on his purpose, walking in his purpose, doesn't need validation from a woman to feel like a man. He knows that his actions and his character makes him a man. Not because a woman is behind him calling him king and calling him daddy. If a man depends on female validation or a woman's validation just to feel like a man? What happens when y'all start arguing, or when y'all start falling out of love? Right? What happens when the relationship gets rocky? Where's he going to find his validation from? It's not going to be from himself. It's not going to be from God. It's not going to be from his purpose or his passion. It's going to be from other women. A lot of these guys are looking for a mommy, a MILF, a mom that they're looking for a MILF. They're not looking for a woman, an equally yoked woman, a mature, spiritual woman. They're looking for a MILF. And the way you avoid that is, you can't necessarily prevent yourself from attracting it, but you can watch your actions. Make sure that you're not mothering this guy. Do not mother your man. If you let your man move in with you prematurely, and he's convinced you that going 50-50, anyways, if he convinced you that you supporting him and you mothering him was you being submissive and you being feminine and, you passing the test, if he convinced you of that, consider that the beginning of the end of their relationship. Or can just consider yourself a slave. Or consider yourself a mom. You're a mom. You just adopted a grown man. So, our idea of a relationship, it has to be fixed. It has to be fixed. Our man is supposed to be our partner. They're supposed to be equally yoked. So why do women find themselves doing more of the work in all their relationships? Why are we doing more, giving more energy, spending more money than him just to keep him around? Why do we subconsciously feel like we have to do these things just to keep him around? What if I told you that if you did not let this man move in with you, if you did not pay for his food, if you did not help him financially when he, needed someone or whatever? What if I told you if you didn't do all that stuff, he will still like you, he will still respect you, and he might even step up his game to be able to meet you where you are? And if he doesn't, he's not for you. Do you even want to deal with a liability like that anyway? I don't want to deal with a liability like that. If a guy doesn't want to be with me because I won't let him move in with me or I won't give him money, that's an insult to me. Like, bye. I'm insulting myself. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys want a mommy. They want a mommy that they can F anytime they want. They want a mommy that helps pay their bills. They want a mommy that feeds them. They want a mommy that burps them. They want a mommy that's always there for them no matter what, even during their temper tantrums and when they be acting bad. I'm not dealing with that. Not dealing with that no more. No woman that has been in relationships and that has perpetuated this pattern should go through that anymore. We are giving the wrong type of nurturing to our men. Don't turn yourself into a mom. Don't do it. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. I remember like in my last relationship, when I finally gave in and I let the guy move into my apartment, the red flags were already there. You know, when he would come over, even before we moved in together, or before I told him he can move in, he would already be at my house for days and days. And I would have to do work. Like, I would have to do voiceovers and make content. And like, I had things to do. But it seemed like he never had anything to do. So he would be over my house for like 3 days in a row. And sometimes like I would be walking around the house frustrated because I needed to make money, but he was still at my house, and it was like uncomfortable for me to like do voiceovers around him. So sometimes I'll be like, you know, moping around the house a little bit because I didn't really know how to communicate that. You know, I don't want to sound mean, like, can you go home? I didn't want to communicate that, or I didn't know how to communicate that. And I remember like thinking in my head, like, if he moves in with me, I know that I'm not going to get nothing done, because he's just always around, like always around. I mean, it's not like he's paying my bills, so I still have to work, you know? I still have to work. I don't have the option of not working. So him being around all the time, it's actually a distraction. But, you know, I ignored that. Honestly, I ignored it, because when I heard the worry in his voice, and, you know, him telling me he hates where he lives and blah, 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 he wants to move out. And I was like then trying to convince myself why it was a good idea, when originally that was a boundary that I was really supposed to stand on. Not letting a guy move in with me. I was never supposed to let a guy move in with me ever again, unless he literally agrees to pay all the bills, or we move into a place together, or I move in with him or something like that. You know, like when you flip that masculine and feminine dynamic, and you flip those roles, I'm telling you that it never ends well. Nature is nature for a reason. Divine order is what it is for a reason. When we try to do things our own way, that's when things fail. So, yeah. If you're experiencing that karmic loop, every time you start loving a man too hard, I love hard. These men can't handle me. I love hard. No, you love wrong. You're loving your man like you should be loving yourself and your child. You don't love hard. You're loving incorrect. You're enabling him. You're giving him a reason to give up. If you're giving him everything and making him totally comfortable, what does he have to work for? He got the woman, he got the maid, he got the chef, he got the mommy, and he has the sexual access. Why would he have to do more? You know? So, ladies, put yourself first. Put yourself first. Understand that a man has to go through things, and he's not going to not like you if you don't sacrifice for him in the dating phase. You know, allow him to prove himself. Allow him to take care of himself. Allow him to prove himself to you, not you prove yourself to him. He the catch? That's what you're sending out in the universe? That he's the catch? And that you have to prove to him that you're wife material? And that you'll do anything for him to stay around you, and you'll do anything to keep him in? That's what you're sending out to the universe? You know? So yeah, I just want to make this video because I had these thoughts, and then I was looking at some content on YouTube of this lady that was mentioning the same thing, and I was like, I know I'm aligned right now because this is exactly my same thoughts, you know, and it kind of just inspired me to just, you know, spread the message as well. Because yeah, I realized that I was giving the wrong type of love, and I was loving my boyfriends the wrong way. First of all, it's like now it's hard for me to even believe in a boyfriend. It's like, what is that? We're either dating and I'm trying to see if you're husband material and I'm trying to see if you're right for me, or we are married. We're either dating, we're engaged, which is still like a dating phase. It's like dating on probation, and then marriage. What is a boyfriend? What is a girlfriend? What is that? I'm not going to trap myself and play house with a guy no more. No more. It is a trap. It is a trap, especially if you're the type of girl that like loves hard and that like does everything for a guy because you just love him so much. I'm telling you, that boyfriend and girlfriend thing is a trap. When they say that you are single until you're married, you'll see. Hell, the universe told me I'll see. And I learned the hard way. I'm not giving my soul, I'm not signing my soul away to a guy. No more. Even after a ring, I'm still not doing that. Because I know once I switch into mommy mode, for him, it's the beginning of the end. As much as I continue to grow and evolve, I want my man to continue to grow and evolve. I don't have time to slack, right? I don't have time to let myself go. I don't have the room to let myself go and to do nothing and be lazy. So why would I give him the room to do that? I'm going to be a mother to my kids, not to a grown man. So he can start to take advantage and take me for granted. And, you know, no, I'm not doing that no more. Even the most beautiful, the most loving, the most valuable women get taken for granted because they switch into a mommy mode. And they forget their value. And they put all of their value in a man. A man that prides himself on validation from women and not the validation that he gets from himself and God. So I'm about to wash off my makeup and eat the rest of my key lime pie and probably watch some YouTube videos. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you are not subscribed to my channel already, make sure you go ahead and do that. Turn on your notifications, and I'll see y'all in the next video. And remember, stay a woman to your man. Do not turn mommy on your man. The moment you turn mommy, consider that the beginning of the end of the relationship. Or consider yourself a slave.